recipes that call for a minced shallot versus an onion, and this is a really kind of a quick tip on if you don't have a shallot, how you can substitute an onion and get that small minced texture of a minced shallot without doing all the work. Now, this is a shallot, and this is actually a fairly good sized shallot. This is nice size, this is pretty large. And this is a fairly small onion. Now, if you can vision what you would have to do to mince this, most people would tell you to start off with a paring knife. You're going to cut this way, and then all of a sudden you are just cutting up a storm. And if you have any problems with arthritis, gripping your knife and dealing with this, or if you shake, the cutting this and then going this way in and then slicing, you can end up, it can be very, very frustrating. Now, if you can't do that, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a trick on how to take an onion and get that same texture and that same kind of shallot feel just from an onion, and it's going to be much, much easier to do. All I'm going to do, and this is a fairly small onion, so we're going to take a couple of slices, and they're only about 1/4 of an inch thick. It doesn't have to be crazy, crazy thin. I'm just going to take a couple of slices right in there. Okay, now that they're stacked, I'm just going to put my knife on the board and just run my knife simply, slowly through the 2 slices. Just like that. And you can already see how small these pieces are. And now all I'm going to do is just run it through again. And that is giving us those little tiny minced pieces of onion without having to go through the process of mincing a shallot. Okay, once you get it down to this small, just running your knife through just like that, keeping your fingers away from the blade, you can actually see how fine this mince is. And that's exactly what you're looking for. Okay, so now we know that you can take an onion, a couple of just thin slices, and get the same texture that you can get with a large shallot, and then without having to do all that little tiny cutting. However, a couple of things you need to remember. A shallot, even though it's from the same family as the onion, it's a little bit sweeter and it's very, very mild. So if you are looking to not add a lot of onion flavor to your dish, you might want to cut down on the amount of onions that you actually put into your dish. If you like the onion flavor and you don't mind the sharper, more attack of the onion, leave it in there. Now this amount is actually less than what this shallot would probably mince down to be. So you can actually gear your measurements exactly the same way. If it calls for a tablespoon of minced shallot, you can either use a tablespoon of minced onion, just like I showed you, with the slices, and the slices is the easiest way to get that tight little mince. Or you can just use a little bit less. It's all up to you. Shallot versus onion, you decide.